very important plant to the Indians. They did actively farm this plant 800 to 1200 years ago. And one of the things they did, they'd break off the tip. Let me back up a little bit. These tips are very hard, they're very sharp. This contains an acid that will make you cry for your mama. Don't care how tough you believe you are. I believe I'm pretty tough. I ran into this plant. I would rather hit myself with a hammer. And I've done that, so I know the difference. But one of the things the Indians would do, they'd break this tip off, they stripped it down the back. They had instant needle and thread. It is a very fibrous plant, very soft fiber. A girlfriend of ours does a lot of the primitive stuff that you were talking about. And it's a heck of a process. She's been teaching my wife how to make the rope out of these fibers. And you actually have to soak it for a while, and then you work it, and then you soak it, and then you work it. And some of them that she has made is real soft like yarn, but very strong. These needles will go through my leather guards. Anything you can put it through, you can repair. They use these as weapons. Imagine being stabbed by this thing. The thorns grow downward, so it's going to hurt more coming out than going in. Curved blade causes you to bleed out. And you have the acid factor to take into account. Before it bloomed, the Indians would pry out the heart of the plant, create a large bowl in the bottom, and they could gather the agave nectar. And you've probably seen agave nectar in the grocery stores. This guy's about 25% sugar. It's very sweet. Science has proven that cancer loves processed white sugar, so more and more people are going to the natural alternatives. My wife and I use it. It is a natural blood thinner. It's also a natural antioxidant. Ferment it, make what we call pulque. Basically a bad tequila, but tequila nonetheless.
I've heard that before.
Pulque.
Okay.
What's the general process of that? Is it that with sugar or just?
No, tequila is actually a byproduct of the agave process. Just fermented, essentially. But when they cook that sugar down, it gets way outside my pay grade. But then the water, the juice that's left over, they then ferment into tequila. The Indians would pry out the heart of the plant. They'd end up with a large, what looks like a giant artichoke heart. Bake it 3 to 4 days in underground roasting pits. They'd cook out all that acid, turn it into a very sweet, almost like a giant artichoke heart. The Tonto Apaches would use the stalk. Again, the flowers, when it flowers, make a nice hot tea. The seed pods make a very nice bean, throw it into the soup of the day. But the Tonto Apaches would take the stalk, and they made a one-string stringed instrument known as the Apache Violin. It was a courting instrument, and if you wanted to let your young lady know you were interested, you sat in front of her father's lodge and played your violin. A friend of mine still makes them today, and it sounds to me like I assume a cat will sound when you slam its tail in the door. It is not a romantic sound by any stretch of the imagination, but just a really cool plant. I do get a lot of people that'll ask me, hey, what's that big asparagus-looking plant? And it's the agave. So this one's on the way out. Here's some of the babies from where they send out the runners underneath. These guys will go through your shoes. They will ruin your day. I always warn my guests, if you're out here hiking, pay attention where you put all your body parts.
Like your Stampede strap.
This one, yeah, I made that.
That's nice.
Yeah, I didn't know what else to do with with my hat, so
Nice.
yeah, I was practicing my flat braid.
Have your wife make you put them on the internet.
I keep her busy enough trying to feed me. So back in 1881, the local settlers were downtown. They heard loud thunderous boom. They looked off this direction, and they saw a huge red cloud of smoke or dust. It actually hung around for several days. And we're going to go around to the front side as well. But they rode up here to investigate, and they discovered this. Now, these were very religious, very superstitious folk, and it has been written down that one looked at the other, and he process. So what do you figure the devil's cooking up now? And they named this the Devil's Kitchen sinkhole. It is one of the largest sinkholes in the area. It's also the most active sinkhole in the area.
Yeah, I read that.
This hole is continuing to grow. But what really happened here has been happening for hundreds of millions of years, several hundred feet below us. The water runs down through these cracks, and about 700 feet below us is a large aquifer, a large limestone cavern, and a combination of processes carve away at the formations below. And then for some reason that water goes away, roof collapses, water level comes up, starts that process all over again. And finally in 1881, this hole popped out. Now geologists tell us where we see all these $1,000,000 homes, that area is full of sinkholes that have not topped out yet. Someday somebody could come home to a sunken kitchen.
All those expensive cliff homes in Palo Verde, California.
Yeah, same kind of thing. Now watch your step, we'll wander around to the front side. Glad to see you girls drinking your water. You got plenty?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, one of my jobs is rescuing fools that come out here with no water. Or they bring one little bottle of water for 6 people. Doesn't usually play out well.